Hello, thank you so much just for giving me a moment of your time. I would like to formally introduce myself. My name is Marshane Foreman, and I work in the Cobb County School District currently in the middle school. I serve as grades 6 to 8. I just wanted to bring forward some of the issues, or specifically a main issue that's affecting our students at a consistent and high rate. Did you know a recent national survey found that more than students are spending more than 20 to 25 hours every year just taking standardized tests? And for a lot of our students, there's even more than that, just depending on what school they're at and what leadership that they currently are. This is becoming just a main issue. It's just a little bit too much testing that's just going on consistently, and we're wasting a lot of instructional time. And not only that, a lot of teachers are actually teaching to the test instead of teaching authentic learning. Right now, our schools are currently being overwhelmed by just excessive and repetitive tests. Students face annual tests just like every other state here in Georgia, just like every other state, not only Georgia, but we take our district benchmarks. We take other practice benchmark tests. We take interims that focus on ELA and math. While also throughout each week, we're taking formatives and summatives of tests. So just about every 3 to 4 days, students are taking some type of a test, even if it's not a standardized test. So as you can see, this is a little bit way too much testing for our students. And not only that, they're wasting a lot of instructional time. And a lot of our students that are in high poverty areas, they're consistently testing while not getting enough instructional time, when there are the students that are in the most needed areas that really need this instructional time. Not only does it take away from instructional time, it creates stress, a lot of absenteeism just for students trying to avoid tests, and some students actually reduce the graduation rates are reduced just because they don't want to come to school to test. So I feel that the urgency is now that our families need to find a solution instead of just pushing back through absenteeism and opting out of testing, finding a true strategy to help our students succeed instead of just testing. My policy has three core objectives. Reduce the amount of required standardized tests by eliminating redundant district level assessments. We can assess, but just not as much. So I don't have a problem with us assessing, but just not as much. Shift to assessment systems that provide timely instructional feedback. Sometimes we take assessments, and a lot of the educators feel like we just to take assessments. How is the assessments in driving our instructional feedback besides providing accountability for the school and the educational leaders who are currently in charge of the school? Also, to increase autonomy by allowing them to choose or design assessments that match their curriculum. Many of these tests are coming and pushed down to the teachers. In actuality, the teachers feel the need to skip over the curriculum and only pick bits and pieces of the curriculum to actually teach to what is called considered teaching to the test. This creates a lapse in students learning and mastering all standards across the grade level. To me, that's just truly not student success. That's picking and choosing what students is learning. And for me, the students by using this method, students are not mastering grade level standards. All right. So what I'm proposing personally is fewer and better assessments. I think we can cap district mandated tests. I personally say 2 per year. I would like to start in the fall, and then start in the fall, and then one in the winter. That's when we come back in August, and then also that's when we get ready for break in December. There's no sense of us taking another test in the spring when there's already a spring state test coming up. So we take another benchmark test in the spring, followed by a week or two later taking a state mandarized test. To me, that's over testing. Students do not need to be consistently taking tests back to back a week or two apart. Our districts also should require, and publish just a transparent calendar for our students and their parents so they can see when the tests are coming up, and adopt formative assessments. Their teachers can, just see the test, months later, and then see how they can use that to drive the instruction, and also create some type of assessments that may be performance based instead of just standard based to meet the needs of all our different learners. Every learner doesn't learn the same. And so I think if we create different assessments for different learners that families can choose, I think that will be a more reliable option to truly see what student learning is all about. So as you can see, with all these things that I provided, consistently they show that learning more when assessments are formatives or teacher driven will actually provide more of feedback and bang for our buck when we're actually trying to get authentic learning instead of just teaching to the test. There's nothing wrong with accountability. Accountability is key. But also, we have to think about our students, and specifically in these low socioeconomic status areas that need more instructional time to bridge the gap and create equity for their learning, not only for their learning while they're in school, but for their learning outside of school and get the skills that to help them be a productive citizen here in America. So my call to action is simply to reduce the redundant testing, strengthen instructional assessments, and restore valuable learning for teachers and students. Your support specifically can help create a more balanced and student-centered self-assessment. So I'm calling on you and your colleagues to follow up with me and my staff and and create a more collaborative way that we can propose something that can align with our educational priorities besides just redundant testing. I want to thank you so much just for taking the time to speak with me today. I look forward to meeting with you again. If you have any questions for me, please just let me know. I'll be more than happy to give you a copy of my policy and see how we can improve, how it can possibly be improved, or what measures can be put in place for us just to take the next steps. Thank you so much.